All right, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one today. I'm going to be trying to preview the second round of the NCAA tournament. This is going to be part one because half the games are done, half the games aren't done as I'm recording this. So the first day, Saturday's games of the round of 32, the second round of the NCAA tournament, we're going to try to predict here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications to also like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're getting closer and closer as the days go on. So all the support around the channel would be very much appreciated. Link to my Twitter and all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So start off right away. McNeese and Purdue, the 4-12 matchup. That is the first one we're seeing Saturday. Purdue holding off a High Point, which I thought High Point was going to win that game, but Purdue ended up getting the win. And then McNeese, I called McNeese with the upset on Clemson. This could be a very interesting game. McNeese, they kind of bullied Clemson a little bit, which is very surprising. Clemson has a lot of upperclassmen, seniors, and stuff that have been in this situation before, but McNeese just came out and bullied them, I feel like. Getting all the extra rebounds, getting to the paint at will, getting steals. Brandon Murray was amazing off the bench. Just I felt like the energy they had was just like kind of like you're going to feel who we are. And they're going to absolutely try to do the same thing to Purdue. Purdue, you got Braden Smith and Trey Kaufman-Wren, two, again, more upperclassmen that have been that were in the championship game last year. They know how stuff works. And I think it's going to be very tough for McNeese to try to do the same thing they did to Clemson to Purdue. It's not impossible, obviously, but I think it's going to be a lot tougher. Purdue, very solid team. They got shooters around. Again, they have those two guys that are upperclassmen that can get to their spots and score whatever they want to. But McNeese is a tough defense. It's going to try to bully him, get into the inside, which Purdue is not an amazing interior defensive team. So this is going to be a very grueling battle. I think a lot of, fouls maybe in this game. It's going to be a big battle. It's going to be a battle. Ultimately, at the end of the day, prediction, I'm going to take Purdue. I'm going to take Purdue in a very close game. I think McNeese is going to definitely keep it close. I think it's going to be a back and forth, very grinded out type of game. But ultimately, I'm going to go with Purdue because I just don't feel like McNeese can do the same thing that they did to Clemson to Purdue. I feel like Purdue is a lot more of a mature team. You have a mature point guard of Braden Smith that I really like, that knows how to control the game, and then Trey Kaufman-Wren could be an easy bucket down low on Purdue, for them as well. So I'm going to go Purdue in a battle. Next, we got 2 seed St. John's facing off against 10 seed Arkansas. St. John's got a 30-point win over Omaha. Arkansas beats Kansas in a very tight game. And this one's going to be an interesting one. You got Rick Pitino, John Calipari, two of the most amazing coaches in college basketball that we've seen facing off. An amazing coaching battle in this one. St. John's, very tough team. You know what they do on the defensive side of the ball. They have RJ Lewis is really, really good. They just get it done. And Arkansas is a team that has a lot of younger players, but also has a couple of upperclassmen like John L. Davis, and DJ Wagner that had really good games yesterday against Kansas. Adu had a really, really good game. And Arkansas is a team that, they're still very young, and they're gonna have they have little kinks to kind of clean up and wash up. But they're still a very good team that can score a lot of points. And they also force turnovers. So St. John's going to have to be on their P's and Q's in this one. For me, for the prediction, I got to go with St. John's. I just like the experience of St. John's better. I just like their defense overall better. And if it comes to a game where it's going to be defense and grit and grind and turnovers and stuff, I feel like I trust St. John's a lot more with some of their upperclassmen and some of the shots they can hit, some of their players more than I trust Arkansas. But I do feel like Arkansas definitely has a shot in this game in terms of they can get out from the three-point line. St. John's is not an amazing three-point shooting team, even though they will take those shots. They're not an amazing three-point shooting team, so maybe Arkansas can force them kind of like what Omaha did a little bit for the first couple of minutes, force St. John's into shooting a lot of threes and getting back and getting easy buckets in transition and can run. I think Arkansas has a chance here, absolutely, but ultimately I'm going to go with St. John's. Next, we have a 4-5 matchup, Texas A&M, Michigan. Texas A&M beats Yale. Michigan defeats UC San Diego, the team that I had going to the Sweet 16. I had UC San Diego, but unfortunately they couldn't get up and come up with the win. I think this is going to be a very, very interesting game. Texas A&M is a physical type of team. They take a lot of shots. They have a guy like Wade Taylor that can pop off and have a big night. Pharrell Payne had a really good game yesterday for them. Offensive rebounds. It's going to be interesting to see the rebounding because Texas A&M is one of the best, if not maybe the best, offensive rebound team in the nation against Michigan, a team that has 2 7-footers, and Danny Wolf and Vlad Golden. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how good Texas A&M could be getting those offensive rebounds, getting those second chance opportunities when they have to box out 2 7-footers and Wolf and Golden. You know, it's going to be very interesting to see how that goes with their physicality. Michigan impressed me honestly yesterday. You know, hit a lot more threes than I expected. Made the simple plays on the stretch. Got to the free throw line. Trey Donaldson played a really good game as well. Knew when to shoot, when to facilitate, when to get to the rim, all that stuff. He was really good. And yeah, Texas A&M is a team. They shoot a lot of threes. You know, they're not a great 3-point shooting team, but they make up for getting a bunch of extra possessions of the offensive rebound. So if they get 3 or 4 opportunities out of 3, eventually it's going to fall, right? You know, and again, I'm very interested to see how they do that against a Michigan team that has a lot of size on them. So this could be, I think this potentially could be maybe the best game on the slate, which says a lot because there's a lot of really good games on this slate. Michigan Texas A&M is a big battle. For me personally, I'm gonna go with Texas A&M. I'm gonna go. I think it's gonna be a very good game, very close game. But I trust Texas A&M. I don't know. I just trust them more on the defensive end. Michigan has a lot of turnover problems, and Texas A&M is a really good defense that can capitalize on those turnovers. So if Texas A&M can capitalize on those turnovers in Michigan, it's gonna be very tough for Michigan to come back and win this game. So I'm gonna go with Texas A&M, but I do think that's gonna be a very good one. Next, we got another interesting battle: 3 seed Texas Tech taking on 11 seed Drake. Texas Tech holds off UNCW. Which shout out to them, they made it a very close competitive game. And then Drake upsets Missouri at the 11th seed. I think this could be another very good game. Texas Tech is really good on both sides. They take a lot of threes. They're kind of a team that lives or dies by the three ball. They have a guy like JT Toppin who can score in the interior, can defend, showed a lot of good passing ability when he was in double team. Texas Tech is a really good team. Drake is also very good though. Do not sleep on Drake just because they're 11th seed. You know, and like they are a very good team. They play at a very slow pace. They use all the shot clock, kind of get you frustrated a little bit with that. They have a guy like Bennett Sturts, who is an incredible player. You know, ball handler that can score on all 3 levels, can pass, can defend. He does so many different things as well. And Drake is just a really smart basketball team. And this is not going to be an easy matchup for Texas Tech. I think this could be a very good battle. You know, if Drake can, I think, slow down the pace, which they're going to do, they're going to try to play slow. Drake can slow down the pace and not let Texas Tech. Texas Tech loves to get up threes, just get up shots, get up threes, get up threes. If Drake can slow that down and calm that down, so Texas Tech doesn't have a game where they shoot 40 something threes and all that stuff like that, they can slow the game down. That could work in their favor. Bennett Sturts obviously is going to have a really good game against a kind of tough Texas Tech defense as well. And JT Toppin's going to have to assert himself and be dominant, you know, in this game as well down low. I think it's gonna be a very good battle, man. Just because it's an 11 seed Drake, do not sleep on them. Do not think this is gonna be just an easy walk past for Texas Tech. You know, like this could be a very good game. I'm I'm gonna say Texas Tech. I'm gonna give it to Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech is gonna win this game, but I will not be. I would not be too surprised if Drake does win this. I kind of want to lean Drake a little bit just because I like the way they play. They're just a really smart basketball team, and teams like that usually win in March, you know. But Texas Tech is very good in itself, so I'm gonna take Texas Tech. But I think this is gonna be a game I really want to see. Next, we're going to a 1-9 Auburn Creighton. Facing off Auburn defeats Alabama State. Creighton upsets Louisville. I think this could be a very interesting one. Auburn. Obviously, we know what they can do in the defensive end. They have so many stars. They have Janai Broome, Todd Pettiford, Miles Kelly had a really good first round game. They're a tough team. And Creighton comes in. They have a lot of shooters, a lot of shooting spacing. Obviously, they have the 7-2. Ryan Cogburner, I forgot his name for a second. So Cogburner versus Broome. It's gonna be a very interesting matchup. You have Stephen Ashworth, who had a really good game in the first round. Jemiah Neal, I really love Jemiah Neal. He had an amazing game as well in their first round matchup. I think this could be a solid game. Creighton, their shooting's gonna have to be there. I mean, they're gonna have to knock down some shots and hit some shots because you're not gonna get too many opportunities for easy buckets against this Auburn defense. So Creighton's gonna have to really lock in and have another hot shooting night like they did in their first round matchup. And for Auburn, I think it contains Ryan Cogburner. You know, I think they can do really good things because Creighton relies a lot on Ryan Cogburner. You know, and Auburn has size and they have physicality down there. So Cogburner's gonna have to have a really good game. And if Auburn can limit Ryan Cogburner, what he does, then it's going to be very tough for Creighton to win. I'm going to go Auburn in this game. I just don't know if Creighton has enough defensive, you know, I just don't know if Creighton has enough to beat Auburn. You know, Creighton definitely can make this interesting. And if Ryan Cogburn has a really nice game, things are going to get very interesting. But ultimately, I'm going to go Auburn. Next, we have 3-6 Wisconsin, BYU. Wisconsin takes out Montana, and BYU beats VCU. I think this could be another. I mean, most of these games, all these games probably are going to be good games. You know, against good teams, you're getting slower and slower in the competition. Lower and lower amount of competition means better games. You know, Wisconsin, Another team, they shoot a lot of shots. They shoot a lot of threes. Um, they like to attack, kick out, threes, play with pace. BYU does something similar. BYU is a team that, likes to shoot a lot of threes, likes to take a lot of shots, kind of play fast. This could be a very good offensive game. I think this game could probably come down to who can get the most stops at the end of the game. I think that's what it's gonna come down to. Um, in terms of who I got winning, I'm still kind of undecided a little bit. Because I don't know, there's something about me that really likes BYU. I picked BYU in my March Madness bracket video I did originally. I picked BYU to go pretty far. I think I had them in the Elite Eight. Like, I had them going pretty far. I don't know what it is, but there's something I like about this BYU team. They have Igor Demon. They have Richie Saunders. Igor Demon can control the game. Richie Saunders can score. They have a really good big man, even though he's undersized. And Keita Keba. I forgot how you pronounce. I forgot his name. It's coming Blake right now, but he blocks a lot of shots. Even though he's an undersized big man, and Wisconsin does have a couple 7-footers they like to play out there, so that could be a very interesting matchup as well. Wisconsin shoots a lot of the shots. Um, hmm. This is a really really tough one, man. This is really tough. I'm gonna go with. You know what? Give me BYU. I'm gonna go BYU in this game. I think BYU can get more stops at the end of the day. I think BYU can play. I think their guards can really control, and their guards can have really big nights, and I think they can shoot the ball very, very well. And Wisconsin kind of gets a little bit up and down sometimes. I'm gonna go BYU. I'm gonna go BYU. I think it's gonna be a very, very close game, down to the last minute type of game. And I'm gonna go with BYU, man. I don't know. There's something about this team I really like. Another one seed in action, 1-8, Houston Gonzaga. Houston took out SIUE, and Gonzaga took care of Georgia. And I think this is an amazing matchup. To get a type of matchup like this in the round of 32, I mean, one of these teams is not gonna make the Sweet 16 is kind of nuts. 'Cause these are two really good teams. Houston, they're one seed for a reason. I mean, they have lockdown defenders, and the difference between this year and past teams is they have shooters. They have LJ Cryer, Emmanuel Sharp, Uzan. They have guys that can shoot the three ball, and can go score. Gonzaga, even though they don't have the crazy amount of names that they had in the past few years, they're still a very good team. Have some veterans. They have Ryan Nembhard, Grim Ike, Khalif Battle had a really, really good game yesterday. Like, they have a really poised team. And you have Mark Few on your team, a guy that's made the Sweet 16, it feels like for 40 years in a row, you're going to have a chance in every game. So I think this is going to be an amazing battle. Again, this is kind of like an Elite Eight, I feel like, type of game, and we're getting this in the second round. I mean, one of these teams is not going to make it to the Sweet 16. That's kind of wild. Um, I think it's going to be a very tough game. It's definitely going to come down to, shooting. Going to come down to who can consistently get more offense in the last couple minutes in this game, the last few possessions. I feel like this is a game that's going to come down to the final few possessions. I think this is going to be a execution type of game, especially on the offensive end. Both these teams have pretty solid defenses. If Houston's shooters can do what they've done all year, they're going to be a good chance. But if Gonzaga can play good defense, Gonzaga can kind of maybe force Houston into some tougher shots, or force them to kind of maybe go one-on-one sometimes, because they're not an amazing two-point shooting team, then that could be something. I think it's going to be a very interesting game. I'm going to go with Houston because I trust Houston more, but I wouldn't be too shocked if Gonzaga takes them out, man. Again, this is a very good matchup to get in the second round. This is a very tough team to face in the second round if you're Houston. So Gonzaga definitely has a shot in this, but I'm going to go with Houston at the end of the day. And the last game we have, Tennessee, UCLA, the 2-7 matchup. Tennessee took care of Wofford. UCLA beat up Utah State. Both these teams, solid defense. I think this could be a really good defensive matchup. Tennessee, obviously, they have toughness. They have elite defenders on their team. UCLA does a pretty good job defensively, too. Tennessee has Chaz Lanier, who had a really good game against Wofford. Sakai Ziegler. They have some really good offensive players. UCLA, they were hot shooting on Thursday. They don't have an elite offense. They don't have one guy that they really get to and be like, all right, do your thing, even though Sky Clark had a really good game. I think this is going to come down to kind of similar to Gonzaga Houston, where I think both these teams are amazing defensive teams. It's going to be who's really shooters come to play. If Chaz Lanier has another game where he has 20-something points, it's going to be tough because UCLA doesn't have the amount of offensive firepower that they can just give it to one guy and be like, all right, go ahead and take these shots. Tennessee has it with Chaz Lanier. But UCLA doesn't really have that. I think it's going to be a really good defensive matchup. It's going to be a great coaching matchup, too, between Rick Barnes and Mick Cronin. I'm very interested to see this game. I think it's gonna be a very exciting, maybe not exciting game in terms of a lot of points being scored, but exciting in terms of it's going to come down to the last few minutes. It's going to be a grinded out, type of game with a lot of missed shots, fouls, loose balls. Like I think it's going to be that type of game. I'm going to take Tennessee in this one just because I don't know if UCLA has enough. I just don't. I just like the potential of Tennessee's offensive firepower more than UCLA's. But this is going to be a grinded out type performance. Get your hard hat on. And I can't wait to watch all these games. Honestly. I mean, I've said by every game they're going to be good. I hope we get no bloods. I hope we get a lot of all these games live up to the potential and we get really, really good basketball because March already has been really solid. And I think this round could be a really good round. And look at these matchups. Like, these are a lot of good matchups for the second round. And this is only part one. We're going to do part two tomorrow, trying to predict the second round of the tournament. I mean, the second part of the second round of the tournament. But this is going to be very fun, man. But yeah, that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. We helps out a lot. Once again, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So all the support around the channel will be very much appreciated. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.